Wright Tire and Service on West Fort Williams in Sylacauga is the right place for you. We carry the right tires for your car. Goodyear, Cooper, General, Michelin, and lots more. Wright Tire and Service is also your right choice when it comes to all of your automotive service needs. Whether it's an oil change, front end alignment, brake service, or air conditioner work, make the right choice the first time and stop by Wright Tire and Service, Sylacauga.
This man is not a mime. He's merely expressing his joy of switching from his old bank to Heritage South Credit Union. His story unfolds through the rare, spontaneous exuberance of interpretive dance, which anyone can learn with a little help from Heritage South. Isn't it time you said hello to Heritage South?
Alabama State Parks, your other backyard. Brought to you by Alabama State Parks, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
And counting, we are go for a mission to the moon at this time. The second stage tanks now pressurizing, and we're coming up on the power transfer. 50 seconds.
One trip to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and you can show your kids the space program in ways that no textbook ever could. You'll learn the history of the Apollo missions, how to pilot the space shuttle, and that the moon is actually just a short drive away in Alabama.
And welcome to another program of It's Talladega. In case you're watching for the first time, this program was designed to talk about all the positive, all the good things that are going on in the city of Talladega. We always try to feature a business person, a minister, someone that performs, beauties, whatever. It's all positive and it's all good about Talladega. Our guest today is Glenn Horn. He's pastor of Bemiston Methodist Church. And Glenn, through the years, has wore several hats. And it's just an honor to have Glenn with us on this program. He's going to be talking and he's going to be singing. We're not going to let him preach now. We don't have enough time for preaching. That'll take more than 25 minutes. But we're going to let him sing to you a little bit. Pastor, good to have you with us.
Good to have you, Larry. Thank you for inviting me.
We let's talk about how. Where are you from? Where's Glenn Horn from?
I grew up in Talladega. Grew up in the Brecon community.
Okay.
Graduated from Talladega High School, class of '66. Only time I've been away from Talladega was 4 years in the Navy. Lived in Raglan 3 years, was appointed to a church in Raglan, so otherwise I've been in Talladega community. I actually lived in the county, but been a part of the Talladega community. I've been a pastor for 10 years now. I did preaching before that because the Methodist Church has lay speakers and we can substitute for pastor, so I was already preaching, but actually as a minister, as a pastor, 10 years. Spent some time in the Navy, 68 through 72. That was certainly the Vietnam era, but I was a long way from Vietnam. I was in the Atlantic Ocean. Did some time with the Army Reserve. Didn't stay in there long enough for any kind of retirement, but just help them, which was an experience. I delivered mail in Talladega starting in 1974 up until 2003. So I had about 29 years and 2 months, but I tell everybody 30 years. I always like to round off to the next biggest number. But the experiences with delivering mail, delivered to a broad spectrum of people. Had to hear sometimes sad stories. It was during that time that I hated that I didn't have enough time to really listen more. I think that was the beginning of the calling into ministry, just thinking, well, one day I need to be a pastor where I can listen, where I can maybe help. Also, I feel like God called me through people saying, well, Glenn, you ought to be a pastor, because I'd maybe preach and they would listen. And then other things that I did in the church, they would say things like, you've missed your calling, you should be a pastor. So most of the time when you retire from the post office or any other long-term system, bureaucracy, whatever, you think about traveling. I had to break the news to my wife that I felt like I was being called into the ministry. So we didn't travel like we had planned. But I don't take any of it back. I feel like I'm serving my purpose in life. It's been sad times, good times. I've saw a lot of kids grow up. But all in all, it's been good. I wouldn't take any of it back. I enjoy being a pastor. Hope that I can continue to serve as a pastor.
In your postal years, how much of it has it all been done here in Talladega, or?
All of it was Talladega.
Talladega.
Saw a lot of change.
You're talking about Raglan, living there 4 years. We used to sing up there a lot with the Pioneer Quartet, and there was a guy there, he's deceased now, by the name of Herschel Bean, and can't remember what his wife's name, but they had a little group, singing group. Went to Raglan Baptist Church, and
I remember that family.
Yeah.
We shared the Methodist Church and Baptist Church in Raglan. We had joint services from time to
Sandra
time.
Bean.
Yeah.
Herschel and Sandra, yeah.
I remember Sandra.
Yeah.
It was a quaint little town. I always called it Alabama's Mayberry. It was so small and little police station.
Everybody laid back.
Colorful people, and enjoyed the 3 years in Raglan. The church grew, and I go back occasionally. But most of the time we pastors, we don't interfere, we don't go back, and we let whoever is currently the pastor to be in ministry, so we kind of stay out of the way. But I do like to go back occasionally and see some of them.
You just tuned in, it's Talladega. Our guest today is Glenn Horn, pastor of Bemiston Methodist Church. Of course, that's where I was reared up. Born in 40 and raised in Bemiston until I got married. And through the years, we've moved backwards and forth. Bemiston to Dalewood, to Bemiston to Dalewood. Every time rent comes due, we move. We love Bemiston, we love Dalewood, and it's just a good place to live. You've got some of the finest people in Bemiston, I guess you have in Talladega.
I love them all.
Yeah. Through the years as postman, of course, in public service, and that's what it is, a public service, you've seen it all, haven't you? People will meet you on payday. They won't wait for you to bring the mail to them.
They would want it early.
Come to the post office.
Sometimes I'd just go ahead and line it up.
Know they're coming.
Meet them at the first stop, and then I could miss stops all day. They don't allow them to do that anymore. Actually, they stopped that. Postal Service was more laid back in the beginning of my career, but somebody decided they'd, make us earn our money, so we had to get it and go, so, but it was enjoyable. I look out sometimes, raining, snowing, storms, and I say, thank God.
That's when you don't miss it.
I don't want to be out there in this, but hot weather in the summer,
I remember the old days. Of course, we had a person in church, Ren Waits, and you probably remember Ren. I see him carry that old big old leather strap bag,
right,
packed full of mail, walking the streets of Bemiston, and come a long way since those days, haven't you?
friend helped train me.
Had to sort the mail individually. Now you got what, machines that sorts the mail?
A lot of the mail is being sorted electronically, you know, before it gets there, and we just take it out on the route.
Used to you could
we
mail.
Used to take it out.
Used to you could mail the Talladega letter in Talladega. Now you mail it in Talladega and it goes to Birmingham and Hong Kong and wherever, and it comes back to Talladega.
That's right. Centralized.
Yeah.
Just like government.
Efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency.
We're not going to get off on politics, folks. Don't get excited. Let's talk about how you got in, and we're going to let you sing in just a minute. Let's talk about how you got into the ministry.
Well,
I know you said you felt like.
Yeah, it was a process. I was actually a member of Bethlehem United Methodist up in Montford.
I know
when
where it
this
is.
happened.
We used to sing there the first Sunday in May.
We had to go through a rigorous program to make sure that we're hearing right and that we are being called. A lot of meetings. Had to have a mentor, another pastor that I'd go and visit. Had to go see different people. Had to go to licensing school. They even sent me up to Huntsville to see a psychiatrist. And after a long interview, he said that I was crazy enough to preach. So I got to go on that. So that's, but it was a pretty long spell there. And eventually got appointed to church. I've only served 3 churches now. Started out in a little church close to Ohatchee, Bethel. Was there 2 years. Was at Raglan 3 years. Bemiston, I've been there 5 years. So there is a period of just making sure. A lot of times you might hear a call to go into the ministry, and it may just be your interpretation of a call just to be a better Christian, you know, do more things in the church. But after that, got through that, they passed me, and I started preaching.
I've often said I think being a pastor of a church is sort of like being the mayor of the town. I just have more members.
Yeah.
The folks that you have a problem with in church, the mayor has, and vice versa.
Right.
You've always got that numbers that are going to create a problem for you from time to time.
That's true.
You have to deal with it.
And every experience in life you use in the ministry. And you can serve a large church or a small church, but you know, you're, like I said earlier, making sure that you're in the purpose, you're aligned with the purpose that God has for you. No doubt there was a purpose there in delivering mail and other things, but I was happier when I finally accepted the call into the ministry.
You're listening or watching It's Talladega. Our guest today is Glenn Horn, pastor of the United Methodist, or Bemiston Methodist Church. We got to go to a break, and we'll be right back while he's tuning his instrument up here. Is, what do you call it, dulcimer?
It's a mountain dulcimer.
Mountain dulcimer. And he's going to be singing to us, and we're going to be talking some more about Bemiston Methodist Church. Be right back.
At Downtown Barbecue and Grill, you'll get true Southern-style barbecue cooked the way it should be, smoked for over 24 hours. Our award-winning St. Louis-style ribs are smoked over seasoned hickory wood. The loaded potatoes are the largest you've ever seen and come with your choice of pulled pork or chicken. And don't forget our famous bread pudding and coconut cream cake, made fresh daily. Downtown Barbecue also offers last-minute catering services. And be sure to join us every Tuesday for Taco Tuesday, featuring a fun mix of pork and Mexican cuisine, and Wednesdays for Wing Wednesday.
Local Health Mart store in Silicaga's Marble City Pharmacy. With 57 years combined experience, registered pharmacists Danny Johnson, Jacob Johnson, and Jerry Johnson stand ready to fill that next doctor's prescription. Your full-service pharmacy, Marble City Pharmacy, features the Living Well Diabetes Life Center Control. We're your gift headquarters, too, including Alabama and Auburn selections, plus a complete line of toys such as Melissa and Doug. Greeting cards for any occasions, and also saving you even more money is our popular dollar aisle. That's Marble City Pharmacy, the way a drugstore used to be.
Hi there, welcome down to the Swift Willie Buick Slick Willie Auto Car Lot.
Don't fall for the same old trick. Do business with the best. Tallapoosa Ford in Alexander City. Tallapoosa Ford has a huge selection of F-150 trucks. 2011 Tauruses. Tallapoosa Ford has it all. The short country drive from anywhere. We can do all warranty work on any Ford with award-winning service.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to invite you to come experience our dealership and see what 30 years of family-owned business can do for you in your car buying experience.
Save on gas.
Save on purchase price.
Get more than you imagined for your trade. Plus, take advantage of huge factory incentives and 0.9% financing on new Civics, Accords, Cross Tours, Pilots, and Ridgelines. Now at King Honda Car World, Auburn, Alabama. All roads lead to King Honda,
where you will save thousands on new Odyssey vans.
And get 0.9% financing for 60 months. Forget sticker.
Every new Honda is marked down for this gigantic event.
Now is the time to buy, and King Honda is the place. Over 100 new Hondas to select from at King Honda, Auburn, Alabama.
Right Tire and Service on West Fort Williams in Sylacauga is the right place for you. We carry the right tires for your car. Goodyear, Cooper, General, Michelin, and lots more. Right Tire and Service is also your right choice when it comes to all of your automotive service needs. Whether it's an oil change, front end alignment, brake service, or air conditioner work, make the right choice the first time and stop by Right Tire and Service, Sylacauga.
Get ready to smile at Toyota of Sylacauga, the new 2012 Toyota RAV4. It's the versatile and efficient compact SUV. You'll love your RAV4 for just $21,390 or enjoy 0% financing for 60 months. Toyota of Sylacauga. Get ready to smile.
There's a church in the valley by the wildwood, no lovelier place in the dale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as a little brown church in the vale. Oh, come to the church by the wildwood. Church in the dale, no place is so dear to my childhood as a little brown church in the vale.
That's great.
Thank you, sir.
You do good. That's not the first time you've done this, is it?
I've done it a few times over the years.
I can tell.
And I enjoy trying. I don't call myself certainly not a professional. I did get $1 one time. I played, there was a fan up at the racetrack from Tennessee.
Was it $1 not to play again, or was it $1 to play?
No, he actually just gave me $1. He thought I needed to, so I become a professional then.
Well, shoot, you might go up on the sidewalk downtown and with a cup.
I could do that. I could get up enough maybe to buy a meal.
Sit outside in front of the Ritz Theater, and
I could do that.
As they're coming in and out to the.
I did play a little bit back when it was cold, back in right around Easter, I think.
I saw you up there for.
Yeah, I was so cold.
What was the program we had up there that you and the band played? Something at the Ritz Theater. You and several other guys.
Yeah, that was the little comedy thing that made money for cancer.
Is that the thing? They had me up there dancing.
Yeah.
With Jeff Adams and John.
Yeah. That's right. You heard me.
John Adams and Jeff Lang.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah, you did a good job. You had a good group.
Thank you.
Let you sing again in just a moment. Let's, in the Methodist Church, are y'all called, or are y'all sent, or how do you get to where you're going?
Well, we're certainly called in the first place into the ministry, but
I don't mean to be called to preach, but how are you called to go to church?
We're appointed. The church kind of gets to, they ask the church, the conference, the yes, well, what kind of pastor do you think you'd like to have? And they will, talk about that. And of course they keep up with us, and they look and say, well, Glenn Horn's got some of the things that they're looking for. So they don't really know until close around June, when they know they're going to have a new pastor. They know who's coming, eventually, but they don't get to, go somewhere around, listen to preachers, and pick their own. It's
you don't have a pulpit committee, is that?
Yeah, right. Don't have that. But
I know one time in the Church of God, we had 3 preachers that went to the overseer and said, God has called me to go to Talladega Church. So he just appointed all three of them. He said, if God's called you to go there, I ain't going to stand in the way. So he just so sometimes God might not be in it, might he?
Well, that's true. We're hoping that that's the case.
And you've been at Bemiston how long now?
5
years. You've got a good congregation there. It's a small congregation, but you got some good people there.
They are.
You lost one of the backbone of the church recently, Sammy Grass.
Right, lost Sam. We're sorry about that. We've actually had 2 more deaths since then. So as small churches, small congregations, people die, and you get concerned. You want to grow, but it's in our culture today. A lot of people just don't even come to visit. You'd hope at least come to visit, and maybe we're looking for people at Bemiston that will come and that feel like they're being called to help grow a church, because we need to grow. It's been there since, I think it was 1954. Both the Methodist and the Baptist Church were built the same year.
Bemis Company helped build them, or did build them?
Bemis helped build them, and such a part of the community we don't like to see churches die, but I'm sorry to say they do, and I know in our denomination and others, sometimes it gets down to such a small body of believers that they can't even really afford to pay the light bill. So we don't want to see that.
And I had not planned to get off on this, but since we're talking about it, and we have churches in Church of God and Baptist, what happens to a Methodist church if they get down that they can't afford it? Does the head organization step in and bail them out, or do they sell the property? How do you dissolve a church?
If it doesn't look like any hope for growth, and the members themselves vote to close the church, then they will close it, and then in our system the church belongs to the conference, so they normally, and it takes a while, but they normally will sell the church to another group, independent, any other church, put that back into the conference.
If you just tuned in, you're watching It's Talladega. Our guest today is Glenn Horn, pastor of Bemiston Methodist Church. Pastor, if you would, how did you learn to play this dulcimer, this mountain dulcimer? What's the difference in a mountain dulcimer and down in the valley dulcimer?
Well, you have a hammered dulcimer, a lot more strings to tune there. This is just a simple instrument. Mountain dulcimer is really, and the banjo are the only 2 really American instruments. It had a predecessor, a German instrument that came over with the German settlers. Got up in the mountains, the people up there were mostly Celtic people, and they refashioned it. You got teardrop shapes, you got hourglass shapes. So it started out kind of in the mountains of Virginia and North Carolina. So it is a traditional instrument. Actually, it was used in the mountains for a long time. A lot of churches couldn't afford even a piano up there in the Appalachian. So they played dulcimers.
You play a guitar?
I play a guitar, play a ukulele, several different instruments, but I started out with dulcimer, and I'm more familiar with it. It's easier to play on my hand.
4 strings, in case you can't see it.
Yeah, it started out 3-string, but we added the more modern players another string to give it a little more volume. But it's a very pleasing sound. I go to the nursing home, hospital up with the seniors, assisted livings. I've done this for years, and they really listen. And I only play the older songs, so they're familiar with them.
A lot easier to carry this than playing. You just try to put a piano on your back and carry it around.
You couldn't do that.
It's difficult.
My daughter she learned classical piano in college, and I know, and it was quite tense. I told her, you need to learn to play the dulcimer, because you can't carry that piano. But she finally went to fiddle, but she don't play the dulcimer.
Speaking of your daughter, let's don't get in trouble with the ladies. tell the folks who you're married to, your family members, and if you want to tell about your relatives in the past.
Well, I'm married to Kathy. She was from up in Anniston, the Blue Mountain area. We've been married for 41 years. First child was a boy, Scott Horn. He lives out in our Ronaldton community, and he's in construction. My daughter lives down in Beamiston also. My daughter and son-in-law and my little granddaughter Katie. Son-in-law is we call him Jeter. His name is Gettrell. My little granddaughter is Caitlin Grace. We called her Katie Bug. They live one street over. And my daughter works up at Civilian Marksmanship up in Anniston. It's a kind of a government non-profit. They sell surplus military equipment. She has a degree in music and history from Huntington down in Montgomery. She also got a master's degree in history from Jacksonville, and she kind of wanted to work in history, but she wound up, you know, moving this surplus weaponry. Has a good job. I'm proud of her. Proud of all of them, both of them.
That's
My
great.
son's great in construction, great carpenter. But I told my daughter, well, maybe she could go to school some more and get a doctorate in military weaponry or something, but she don't want any more school.
If you're watching, it's Talladega. Our guest today has been Glenn Horn. We've got another 2 or 3 minutes, whatever. We're going to let him sing and play and take us off the air when time comes. You tune in next time for another edition of It's Talladega.